Welcome to iiKnows. It's Noah Kostopoulos.
Trent Taylor.
We're back with episode 2, NFL Week 11.
We're going to go ahead and start off with the first game of the week, the Cowboys versus the Falcons. Falcons are favored by 3.5 points. Want to go ahead and start?
I don't really think the Cowboys are going to be working it well on the road this week. I mean, they got a big win last week in Philadelphia, and we didn't project them to win. Really got us there, but I don't know. Atlanta did get killed last week. The Browns were putting in that work, man.
Yeah, Falcons lost last week. Cowboys have some momentum right now. I think the Cowboys have the advantage. I mean, the Falcons their only strength would be the offensive side of the ball. Cowboys defense is pretty solid right now.
Yeah, they've really stepped up to the plate,
yeah,
in my opinion. And I think I don't really want to go with Dallas because I don't trust Dallas. I think it was a pretty fluky win, and I'm not going to trust Dallas. So I think the Falcons, Matty Ice and Julio are going to put it together and get a big home win and move to, I don't even know. They're going to add another win to that win column. They're going to win 24-19.
All right, well, I'll take the Cowboys. They're playing pretty good right now. So, I mean, as long as Dak and Zeke, they get the same play calling as last week, I don't see how they lose to the Falcons. So I'll take the Cowboys 28-24. On to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Jacksonville Jaguars game. Steelers are favored by 5 points in this game. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I think it's surprising that they moved this game back, considering how these two have become big rivals now. And I think James Conner, since I think he's going to be able to play, I think he got the questionable injury report moved off of him. And I think the Steelers are going to go in Duval County and they're going to pound the rock.
Yeah, well, like we went over last week, the Jaguars, they're not good.
Yeah.
They're not good this year. They're not playing good football. So, I mean, Steelers defense, it's not the best defense in the league, but it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
so,
they've really stepped up the past few weeks, and after that Atlanta game, they found their swagger.
Yeah, and of course the offense is lethal. So
yeah, you know what you're gonna get out of the triple Bs.
Yeah, I'll take the Steelers by two scores. Take say 35 to. Actually, I'm gonna go 35-17.
I think, despite the Steelers really playing well, I think they're gonna drop this game on the road. Jacksonville's gonna find its it factor, get it right back. They're gonna start working Leonard Fournette back into the game plan. They're going to win low-scoring game 17-14.
Yeah, the only reason I'm taking the Jaguars to score 17 points is because of Fournette. And, I think there's a little bit of chemistry issues on the defensive side right now, so I'll take the Steelers going in.
As long as Jacksonville can run the ball, I don't see them having any problems in this game. So, Trent, what's the next game?
All right, so we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Giants. The Giants are actually favored in this game by 2.5 points.
Yeah, the Giants did get a big win on the road against San Fran, against Nick Mullins, who's been playing really well. But enough about the 49ers. We're talking about the Giants and the Bucs. Ryan Fitzpatrick last week, he played well. He threw for a ton of yards. I don't know what happened with them. They didn't score as many points as I thought they would score. And that's simply because they didn't get in the end zone. They had a ton of turnovers, missed opportunities after missed opportunities. Giants, on the other hand, last week they played well enough to beat the 49ers. And Eli Manning looked capable. And that's something he hasn't looked like in a long time.
Well, the Giants got the good win last week, but let's not ignore the fact that the 49ers are still one of the worst teams in the NFL, and that the Buccaneers offense is still very capable of doing damage against that Giants defense. I still don't have faith in Eli Manning, no matter who he's going against. The only person that's really consistent for the Giants right now is Saquon Barkley, because Odell can't really get the ball. So, I mean, yeah, Buccaneers came off a loss, Giants came off a win, but I think the Buccaneers can dominate this game.
Yeah, I do too, especially since their defense stepped up big time against the Redskins and really held them for most of that game until the end, where it kind of got out of control because they couldn't just keep stopping the Redskins offense after series because the offense didn't want to put up any points.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll take the Buccaneers. I'll say they score 28 points, and I'm going to say the Giants score 7.
I also think the Bucks are gonna win, but I think they're gonna win 35 to 20.
All right, so next up we have Houston at Washington. The Texans are favored by 2.5 points. So, the Texans are a really good football team right now. The Redskins, not so much. Came off a lucky win last week, I'd say, in my opinion, and Texans are a good team. So, what are your thoughts?
Last week, I thought the Redskins played exceptionally well, especially on defense against a high-powered offense and creating turnovers and stopping the ball. So, I really like how the Redskins played. I think Alex Smith, he played well, and they got AP involved pretty well. And that's going to be the key for them again this week. No Crowder and no Josh Doxson.
No, Josh Doxson's healthy this week.
He is.
No Chris Thompson, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big factor. They're going to key in on AP because I don't believe that the Houston Texans are going to respect the outside weapons that the Redskins have, especially with Maurice Harris coming up, and he's going to have to play that number 2 role. I don't know if he's ready for it yet, but the Redskins are going to have a lot of work to do.
Well, Adrian Peterson, he's really consistent, and Mo Harris, I think he'll actually do pretty good in this role this week, but I still think that the Houston offense can generate enough points that Alex Smith isn't going to be able to keep up. He's not going to be able to lead this offense to keep up against the Texans, and so because of that, I'll say the Texans win 28 to, say, 17.
Yeah, the Texans, they played really well last week against Broncos. The Broncos, the record shows that they're not very good, but they've had a lot of close games this year, and I'm surprised that they haven't won more of those close games. And Texans, though, their defense has really stepped up to the plate this year, and they're pretty legit. So I think they're going to key in on the Redskins exceptionally well, and Deshaun Watson's going to be able to have a 300-plus yard game because I don't think the corners for the Skins are going to be that great. So I think the Texans are going to win, I'd say 31 to 20.
All right, so we have the Titans and the Colts up next. The Colts are favored by 1.5 points. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Colts and the Titans.
Yeah.
Colts, they've been on the ball this year. Andrew Luck's had the best protection that he's ever had in his career in the NFL, and the Titans, they're coming off that big win against the Patriots last week. I don't think anybody really predicted them to get that W, even though they had smoked Dallas in Dallas. Maybe the Titans have found their stride, but personally, I still don't trust Marcus Mariota as a quarterback. I don't trust the offense. The only thing I can really trust on that is the defense with Mike Vrabel. But the Colts, their defense has been playing well, even though they let the Jags score. How many points was it? It was 20-something points.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that they didn't actually lose that game to Jacksonville, even though I picked the Colts to win that game, the way that it played out. And I don't know, man. I want to pick the Titans, but I don't think I can. I'm going to pick the Colts in a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be 34-31.
Well, these are two very talented teams who just can't seem to get anything going. They're talented, but they seem to have the exact opposite problems. The Titans have an inconsistent quarterback and an inconsistent offense, while their defense is very good, and the Colts, of course, have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, just to have nothing else. So I think the teams are pretty even. Weaknesses and strengths go against each other pretty fairly, but I think the Titans can carry the momentum from the big win against the Patriots last week. I think they can win, say, 24-14.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we have the Bengals and the Ravens. Ravens are favored by 4 points in this game. And an interesting topic is Lamar Jackson could get the start tomorrow.
Yeah, I am fully anticipating that they're going to give Lamar Jackson a start, considering how the Ravens season's been so far. They started out very hot. They've really plateaued since then. But Robert Griffin III, probably would give them the best chance to win between the two, considering he's more experienced and knows
Yeah.
how to go against them. I don't think they want to risk their franchise quarterback that might not be there next year. Despite that, I think they're going to give Lamar Jackson a start, even though they might feel like they want to start RG3 or something. And I'm not expecting Lamar Jackson to really ball out, even though you saw what the Saints did to the Bengals last week
Right.
at Cincinnati.
Right.
And I think Lamar Jackson's going to do enough for them to be able to get this W at the M&T Stadium. The defense is going to do its thing because that's their bread and butter. That's the
Yeah,
heart and soul
yeah.
of their team, is that defense. And that defense has been lights out, shutting down opponents. Didn't really do that last week against the Steelers. I don't know what happened to them last week, but I believe in the Ravens this week to get it done at home, and it's going to be 24-18.
Well, if the Ravens don't have full confidence in Lamar Jackson, I think it's very smart not to start him, because once he starts, you can't really put him back on the bench.
Yeah,
Once he gets a start, you're pretty much committing to him from now till forever. That's your future, at least for the next 2 years.
Until Flacco comes back, and then they'll let Flacco come back and get his opportunity, because he didn't really do anything to lose his job so far, but he's not really done anything to really keep it. Unless Lamar Jackson shows out tomorrow, let's say over 300 to 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. It's the only way I really see Lamar Jackson taking the reins of this team.
Well, I think as drafting him as high as they did, and with so
Trading
many,
up,
trading up and getting him, so many people expecting him to be the future of the Ravens franchise. Once he gets that start, even if Flacco comes back, I don't think they can go back to starting Flacco. So I expect them to start Robert Griffin III, and he's shown before he's not good against the Bengals when he was with the Browns. So, yeah, the Ravens, they're an inconsistent team. Their defense, like you said, pretty good. Bengals, though, they've been playing very well with the exception of last week, and I think they want to come out and make a statement that they're not the team they showed they were last week against a division opponent. Now say they go ahead and take the win.
They did get Hugh Jackson. He's the
Yeah.
special assistant to the head coach.
Yeah.
What a role that is. Do you think he's going to play any part in this game?
I don't see him making a big impact this week.
Yeah, especially because AJ Green's not healthy still. I don't think they're going to be able to do what they need to do.
Well, I think the Bengals can come away with the win. Andy Dalton at the helm. It's not the best quarterback, but he gets the job done. So you have the Panthers and the Lions, with the Panthers favored by 4.5 points for the next game. Panthers are a good football team. They've shown that, and the Lions have shown that they're still one of the most inconsistent football teams in the NFL.
Yeah. The Panthers last week, I really thought they were going to do well. I was right about Christian McCaffrey having a big game.
Yeah.
But that didn't really help them win the game at all. They got blown out on the road in Pittsburgh. This is going to be a bounce-back game for them, get their confidence back on track, be able to really reignite their season, get that playoff surge, because we're getting near the end of the season already, and they're going to need these wins if they want to stay in that playoff hunt, despite all these teams that were in the hunt losing last week. This is going to be a big win for them, I think. It's going to establish a lot of confidence in them. Defense is going to get their fire back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, last week was a hard week for a lot of playoff contenders, and if the Panthers want to do anything this year, get into the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs, they're going to have to get the win this week.
Yeah. And the Lions, Matt Stafford, sure he's been good. He's been good for the past few years. Really brought it out and taking it to a new level. But that offensive line, man, last 2 weeks they've just been horrible.
Yeah.
That front seven for the Panthers, it's good. I wouldn't say their defense was the only thing to blame last week. They had busted coverages. Cam Newton threw pick six.
Yeah.
They really got out of hand early, and they couldn't come back from it.
Really, Christian McCaffrey was the only thing they had last week. That's the only person who showed up for the game.
Yeah, but the Lions, they're gonna get Galladay involved. They did last week. He was their leading receiver. That's why they got rid of Golden Tate. They got that pick for him. But I don't see the Lions coming away with this win. I think the Panthers are gonna blow them out. I think it's gonna be 31-10.
Well, like I said, the Lions are very inconsistent. If they come out, do what they need to do, I think they can come away with the win. They're a pretty talented team, but I mean, the Panthers, they need the win. Lions season's probably already over, so I say the Panthers can find a way to come out and get the win this week.
What's your score prediction?
I'll take the Panthers. I'll say they win 28-14. That defense slowing down Matthew Stafford and Kenny Galladay connection. All right, so we have the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers being favored by 7 points in this week's game.
I'm surprised that they're favored by 7, considering how well the Broncos have been playing.
Yeah.
Is it in LA? Because if it's in Denver, it's going to change a lot. So it's in. Yeah, it's in LA.
Yeah.
So the Broncos, I haven't seen them really travel well this year. They're used to playing really well at home, and they haven't come away with those wins at home. Case Keenum hasn't really lost in the game this year. I mean, he hasn't really won them games, but he's played well enough. Then that defense is always going to give you what you got to get out of it to get that momentum. But the Chargers, they're really hot. They're second in the AFC right now, and Phillip Rivers is playing great football. Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon have been that offense, and just getting the yards that they need, and setting up the first downs and the play actions where they can go deep and throw it over the top, or they can hit you with a screen, draw, wherever you want. And I think Anthony Lynn should be a contender for head coach of the year after last year, and didn't they miss the playoffs?
Yes, they missed.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs, and really coming back from that. So, considering that, their defense has also been playing well.
Yeah.
And that's been a big part to Derwin James.
Well, they just lost starting linebacker Denzel Perryman for the year. He's been one of their best players on the defense.
Derwin James makes up for it, okay?
All right.
Derwin James is in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Him and Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
But all that aside, I want to pick the Broncos, but I have this feeling that they're not going to be able to pull it out on the road. And Chargers, to me, are the better team, and they're going to get this W 38-21.
So it's a big margin.
Yeah.
The Chargers are always one of the most talented teams in the league. I think they would have been a more consistent factor in the AFC playoffs if it weren't for all the injuries the past few years. I really think they'd be considered Super Bowl contenders if it weren't for all that.
Yeah, the injury bug.
Pushing them back. And like you said, Anthony Lynn, he has this team playing very well. Vance Joseph doesn't have the Broncos playing as well. Broncos, of course, they're a talented team, but they're just one of those middle-of-the-pack teams who sometimes, you just got to keep an eye on because they have enough talent to get a few upsets and all that. But, yeah, I think with the way the Chargers team is playing right now, they have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. And with Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon, one of the best offenses. So
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'd say the Chargers, probably a slow start. Maybe at halftime they're tied, but I think the Chargers will take over in the second half. Go ahead and give them a 35-17 win. All right, so now we got the Oakland Raiders at the Arizona Cardinals, with the Cardinals actually favored by 5.5 points in this game.
Yeah, I don't think there should be any doubt to why they should be favored. Raiders have been playing horrible all season. John Gruden, I don't know what you're doing, dude. You got 10 years to make something happen. That's only year one.
Worst contract in NFL history.
No, yeah, you could say that. Unless he turns it around. You never know. He's got 9 more years.
Yeah, and 3 first-round picks.
That could be something to note for during the draft.
Yeah.
But all that aside, we have Josh Rosen squaring off against Derek Carr, and I think that's going to be the formula for this game. It's either going to be can Josh Rosen outplay Derek Carr, and can David Johnson tear up that Raiders defense? Because aside from those two, aside from Derek Carr, Josh Rosen, Fitzgerald, and David Johnson, I don't see any real weapons
Yeah.
for either team.
Yeah. Well, Raiders defense is terrible. Cardinals defense are not that much better, but at least you get some pass rush from Chandler Jones, and you still have Patrick Peterson, who's still one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And just because of David Johnson and Josh Rosen actually playing well this year, where Derek Carr is not playing well, I think the Cardinals can get an easy win this week. And that's saying something because they're also one of the worst teams.
Well, you see, I don't think the Cardinals are as bad as what everybody makes them out to be.
Yeah.
Because their offense coordinator really cost them some games earlier until they got Byron Leftwich, and now their offense was clicking just like last week against the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs' defense isn't all that great or anything, but considering how they put up all those points last week and how the Raiders are playing to lose, I think the Raiders are going to find a way to win. I think the Raiders are going to find a way to win, and I think they're going to win 18-14.
I think you're crazy. I think the Cardinals are going to win 21-3. Philadelphia Eagles at New Orleans Saints for this game, and the Eagles, again, they're not very good, and the Saints are extremely good.
I mean, I think if the Eagles lose this game, their season's over.
Well, I think their season ended last week.
If they could the only way I can see the Eagles coming back from this season, winning every game out.
Yeah, they'd have to win out.
That's the only way that I can see them getting anything done. And I'm not really the biggest Eagles fan, so I'm not really rooting for them to win this game. No bias aside, though. Drew Brees, man, can he throw the ball well? And can Alvin Kamara run the ball?
Yeah.
Man, those two have been tearing up defenses all year long. And right now, they're too hot to stop. And they're at home. Considering the Eagles lost at home against the Cowboys, who were horrible on the road.
Yeah.
Might have been a fluky win, but the thing the Eagles have going for them is that pass rush. Secondary-wise, though, Michael Thomas might be in for a big day again with Drew Brees, in for another big day. The Eagles are going to have to find a way to win this game. They're going to have to dig deep and find some heart to win this game, and it's going to come down to coaching. Doug Peterson needs to get these guys ready to play the Saints, who are Super Bowl contenders and a very real threat to win this championship this year. Saints defense, they gotta play better. If they want to really go in for the long haul and fight through all these games, they're gonna have to get their secondary to step up and actually cover people. You got Cameron Jordan on the defense. You got Sheldon Rankins. The pass rush has been hitting home pretty well, but Carson Wentz is also gonna have to step up. I mean, last week you saw why the Eagles drafted him. In the second half of that game, you saw first half wasn't really that good, and I think after all this being said, the Eagles couldn't come away with this win. I think they can come away with this win at 24-21, but it's going to be a miracle for that to happen for them, because they really need to get some if they generate turnovers, that's the key to winning this game, especially on the road, and controlling the time of possession.
Yeah, well, you said about how the Eagles' pass rush is very good, but the Saints' offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the league, and I think they can neutralize the pass rush on the Eagles. And even though it's very well known I can't stand the Eagles, I'm not going at this with any bias. And I do think the Saints will dominate, and I do think the Eagles' season will be over after this week. I'm going to take the Saints I let the Eagles score 14 points, but I think the Saints are going to score 38. And let's watch Drew Brees force feed Brandon Marshall in the fourth quarter just to get him involved.
Marshall. Yeah. That's something.
All right, so we have your Vikings facing the Bears in Chicago at Soldier Field. Bears are favored by 2.5 points in this game.
Yeah, I was expecting the Bears to be favored. It's going to be a really big game for both teams because the winner of this game is going to really take sole possession of first place in the division, and they're going to be battling for that division title this year. It's going to be a tight race. Chicago and Minnesota both have tough schedules coming up. The Vikings really need this win this week, more than Chicago, I would say, because the Vikings they have to play Chicago, Green Bay, New England, all in a row, and then have to go to Seattle after that on Monday night.
Yeah.
All primetime games, pretty much. And Vikings haven't played well in primetime this year. They haven't won a game on primetime, I don't think. It's hurt them. Kirk Cousins, he's gonna. I'm not trying to sound cliche, but he has to get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
That's what you knew what you were gonna get with him, and that's what the Vikings offered him. They knew what they were getting with him when they offered him that contract.
Right.
So to all the Vikings fans that say that you can't, that say that he holds on to the ball too long, you knew what you were going to get out of him. But aside from that, the offense, they're getting Dalvin Cook back, they're getting Diggs back, their defense is I think they're getting Barr back this week, and Riley Reif's coming back. They're getting a lot of people back off injuries. And after a bye week, they're going to be pretty well rested. And Mike Zimmer, you have to have had a good game plan this week. You can't go into Chicago expecting to just piss off and dick around all game with them, because that's not going to work with Matt Nagy's offense. Because Matt Nagy's offense it's kind of college. It's like college offense. It's something Mike Zimmer hasn't really seen before. He's going to have to adjust and make these game time adjustments, know how to get good rush on Mitch, contain Mitch.
I'm not sure I understand.
You understand what, Siri? Okay, aside from that, Adam Thielen, I know you have him on your fantasy team. You've been really happy with him this year, but
30 points a game, pretty much.
But in my opinion, none of that is possible without Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the best receiver on this football team. I don't care what the stats say. And Daniil Hunter on the defense. Everybody's talking about Khalil Mack, and everybody's talking about Aaron Donald being Defensive Player of the Year. Have you guys seen Daniil Hunter's stats? Come on. Before the bye week, he was leading in tackles as a defensive end and sacks.
Yeah, well, you know what you're going to get out of the Vikings, and you know their offense is going to be it's going to be good. It's going to be productive. Like you said, Stephon Diggs, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and Adam Thielen, I think he benefits from that a lot. I mean, I'm not saying Thielen's bad, obviously.
No, he's not bad at all. He's another Ferrari on the outside, like John DeFilippo likes to say.
So, they have two very good wide receivers. The running game, it's solid. But like you said last week when I underestimated the Bears a little bit, that's one of the best defenses in the league. Front seven wise, definitely the best in the league. They just need to be able to hold the wide receivers on the outside so that pass rush gets at least 2 seconds to get there. That's all they need really against this offensive line. I mean, they're good run blocking, good pass blocking. They're not the best offensive line in the league. And like you said, Vikings defense, it's very solid, but I have faith in Matt Nagy to come up with something new and come out. And I think the Bears, they can get this win. They need the win. They're an up-and-coming franchise right now. So I'll take the Bears in a close game, 24-23.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close. Then I'm not discounting Matt Nagy at all, because I know he's going to come out with some new stuff against the Vikings, because Chicago always plays really well against the Vikings at home, especially on night games. Last year, the Vikings got to him, though, with Mitch Trubisky throwing a pick to Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the biggest matchups to watch in this game is going to be Minnesota's offensive line, if they can contain Khalil Mack, he's still injured. If
Yeah.
you've watched him, he's definitely not 100%. They're gonna have to limit him, and they're gonna have to attack these corners because these corners, they're hit or miss.
Yeah.
And with the Bears offense, their keys, you're gonna have to target these linebackers because our linebackers this year haven't been as well as what they used to be. But me being a Vikings fan, I'm gonna have to take him, even though I don't. It's really a toss-up for me being a Vikings fan. I hope we can get this win. We need this win. I think we're gonna win 29-27.
All right, so the final game of the episode is the biggest game of the week. We have the Chiefs at LA instead of Mexico City.
Yeah, the players were they were really mad about having to go to Mexico City and play on that field. But have you seen any of the other fields in the NFL that are outdoors and grass?
Right. It happens.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I think that hurts the Chiefs moving the game to LA. Obviously,
Yeah.
LA's a pretty fair weather fan base, but when your team's playing as good as the Rams are, you're gonna get some people to show up.
Yeah, the celebs are gonna come out and show out.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting a lot of Chiefs fans to be out there as well.
Yeah. So the Rams and Chiefs, they both have some of the best offenses in the league. They both have some big names on the defenses, but I'd say the defenses they're not quite as good as they should be for either team, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. They're obviously both top 15, top 10 defenses.
Top half of the league, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be a really good game. I expect it to be a very high-scoring game. But for the Rams, I think they need to control the tempo a little bit more. The Chiefs, I think their offense is a little bit more explosive. They both have really good running backs, but the Rams don't have the explosive players like Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins. I mean, they have Brandon Cooks, but he's not on the Tyreek Hill level. Tyreek Hill's an animal.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill is something else, and that's coming from West Alabama.
Something like that.
I think West Alabama, and he's been ferocious all year, but recently he hasn't really been doing that much. And last week he did have a good game against the Cardinals. That's surprising considering he's going against Pat Pete, who's really good at man coverage, but Pat Pete hasn't played that as well. So I kind of saw a big game coming from Tyreek Hill and everything, but aside from that, if Marcus Peters is on Tyreek Hill's having another big game. Because Marcus Peters takes way too many chances.
He bets. He gambles.
Too much. And that's gonna hurt the Rams. The Chiefs offensive line, I think they're gonna be able to handle Aaron Donald. I think Aaron Donald's gonna get neutralized early in this game. He's gonna get frustrated, he might get a personal foul. But that's to be expected from the Rams. The defense for the Chiefs, they showed that they have their cracks because they let the Cardinals put up points last week at a premium. Well, points didn't come at a premium because their defense wasn't playing well. The Rams, they had a tough game, but Seattle always plays them tough.
Yeah.
They won Thursday night, that's for sure. If Jared Goff's gonna have to get rolling, and I know it's gonna be hard for him because he doesn't have Cooper Kupp anymore, who's probably been his most reliable weapon because he's in the slot. I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I think they're gonna win 27 to, let's say, 20.
Well, like I said, I expect the Rams to control the tempo a little bit more with Todd Gurley. That's their only chance of winning this game, in my opinion. You know, like you said, Marcus Peters on Tyreek Hill, that could result in some explosive plays. And the real key for this game, in my opinion, is Travis Kelce. The Rams don't have anyone with the size and speed to cover a guy like Travis Kelce. I think he could go off. I think he's going to be the key for this game. I'll take the Chiefs, and I think it's going to be a shootout, but I do think the Rams controlling the tempo can bring the score down a little bit more. With the two offensive capabilities, it could be a 50-point game on both sides, but I'm going to take the Chiefs 38 to 30.
Be on the watch though for Johnny Ecker.
Yeah.
The Rams might have something up their sleeves with Johnny Ecker this week.
Yeah.
considering he can flip the fields, that's going to be something to watch out for. That could be a reason that the Chiefs lose this game.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for the week. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. Share the video. Thanks for watching.